What's up, Bantees? It's Halo and Sam. We are back with another very special episode. We believe this is our first repeat guest. Is that
I
right, Sam?
Yeah, it is. And what a special person to have as our first repeat guest.
Yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer for us to have this guy back on. You guys will see why. Just so much good insight into USA Softball, the way it operates, the HBP program, all the stuff we're doing at the youth level. This guy is our resident bestie, and he's also our boss. So make sure you guys really listen to this
Yeah,
a lot. Like when you go to sleep, just let it play, and
thank you.
our numbers. Yeah,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a bestie and a boss all in one.
all in one.
So, hope you guys enjoy wealth of information and an inside look at our lives, really.
Truly, enjoy.
Have fun. Okay, Bantees, we have quite possibly the most special guest that we've ever had on the podcast. I think, Halo, correct me if I'm wrong, this might be our first repeat because we had to drag him in last
I
year.
think it is, which I'm really excited about.
So, I mean, everybody, welcome the Chief Sport Development / Performance Officer for USA Softball, our best friend and cool boss, Chris Sebren.
Thank you guys for having me today. It was very brief appearance back last year during the College World Series. I was forced to come over and participate. So
Never have I ever seen such fear in a grown man's eyes than that moment of, hey, Chris, come over here. But we are so happy to have you. Tell the people, Chris, what is it like being best friends with Sam Fisher and Haley McClenny?
it's amazing. Always lift it up. You guys are the best. Whether it's text or phone calls, there's never a dull moment with you two.
Wow. I think that's all the questions I have, Halo. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to this recording being put live.
Yeah. Look, Chris, there's a lot of people like Sam and I obviously know what you do behind the scenes. You do a lot of incredible work, I think, for not just the women's national team, but USA softball as a whole. Can you can you just give us like a little vlog, a little day in the life of
Uh,
Chris Sebren? Like what does this look like? Because I think it's important for all of the people that listen to the show to know and understand that USA softball is not just naming national teams and that's it. There's so much
yeah.
more work that goes into that stuff.
I think the best part of my job is no day is the same, you know? W- Gosh, there's so many things that we have going on here. Whether it's our high performance program for our youth teams, we have a U15, U18 team, working with U18 men, U23 men, our men's program, U15 women, U18 women, our women's program. Will we have an elite team? Will we not have an elite team on that side? So but we're dealing a lot of stuff with a lot of stuff internationally with events. Our U15 team is currently in Mexico for the Pan American Championship. So
Woo!
Viva.
yeah, we have staff down there right now with them. I'm not down there this week. I'm headed to Argentina with our U23 team in May. So again, we have a lot of moving parts. Our high performance program has identifiers all over the country that everything comes out of our office and goes out across all the country for those events. But flights, hotels, all that kind of stuff we deal with no matter what we're touching. And then, I've been around long enough that I still get drug in to other things we hear in the office. Um, from
Other
past,
duties as
yeah,
assigned,
there you go. That's the
aka us.
yeah. That's what happened when you're around a long time. You get drug into other stuff. So, but it's not never a dull moment, and everything changes from day to day. So that's what makes this job exciting to be involved with, and why I like working at USA Softball.
Ugh. Yeah, and we as two people who have been in the office while you're working and have come and knocked on your door to bother you, that is a perfect description of, yeah, you just keep getting pulled into different things. Um, Chris, you talked about the high performance program, which we've talked a lot about on this podcast, and we've even had some players who have participated in the HPP. I would love to know kind of where, well, I do know, but tell the people where the thought started. What was the idea behind it? How have you seen it grow, and how can athletes get involved in it?
Yeah, I think it grew out of just my knowledge from other sports, whether it be USA Volleyball or US Soccer and their development programs. And, back, unfortunately during COVID, we had some downtime and my staff and I had time to work on something that we could develop, for USA Softball. And, previously, when we had U19 teams, we might have, 40 kids come to a tryout and 10 of them might come from an open event the day before that tryout. So it was very limited with our exposure. And now with the high performance program, our 10 regions across the U.S., we have multiple identifiers in every region. You don't have to be a member of USA Softball to participate. We know that teams out there have a lot of options to play softball, but that's one thing we wanted to remove was that ability that you can just sign up and come and participate and get evaluated. We involve our national team athletes and professional athletes across the U.S. As evaluators. So they're not going to know who you are. You're a number to them at the end of the day. So they're completely unbiased and they'll give you a fair assessment. And we use that information to invite kids to our national selection event, which is usually in December every year. And, the last couple of years, in 2023, we selected a U15 team that represented us in Peru and Japan. Last year, we had a U18 team. And this year, we've got a couple of teams based on events, U15 team and U18 team. So it's been very good. We're still trying to get it out there and expose, all of the softball world and just let kids know that they can participate. It's for ages 12 to 17, basically. And it's based on your birth year, not when you graduate or anything like that. The international world is different than USA Softball or any other sports organization that has an age cutoff. It's based on your birth year, not when you graduate or anything like that. So I think that's a big difference that we get questions about all the time is I thought I was a U15 but you
Yeah.
have me as U16. It's because you turned 16 this year, regardless of your birthday being in January or December. It's based on what age you're going to be in that current calendar year.
That's awesome.
You bring up such an interesting point. There is like international softball. I think so many comments just over the years have just assumed that international softball follows the exact same rules that
Mm,
USA softball or college softball or high school softball kind of follow. And it's like there are so many different things just in terms
Yeah.
of dealing with international play. I'm curious, one, how many countries have you been to? Do you
oh.
know off the top of your
Oh,
head?
I'd have to look at my map. I don't know,
He's, he's got a map.
15. I do have a map. My kids gave me a map for Father's Day a couple of years ago, so I can track where maybe 15 countries so
That's
far.
so
But
many.
I think I've been to Japan probably obviously the most. I've probably been there a dozen plus times since 2017. So
That's a
yeah,
lot.
Haley, we were going 3 times a year
Oh, I know. I
some
racked
years
up
for
so many miles.
yeah.
So many
So
miles.
but yeah, Japan's probably the most traveled and probably the one place I do enjoy going because it's the cleanest place on earth.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college and then potentially with USA Softball in the future.
It's the best. I'm curious from your perspective, Chris. I think Sam and I know this just as players, but from your perspective, I think one of the arguments that's been posed about why softball is in and out of the Olympics is because it's not as international or it's not as global as some of these other sports, like I guess breakdancing. But like, what you being in all of these countries, like, how have you seen softball grow from a global perspective since you've kind of taken the reins from an operations standpoint at USA Softball?
I think the one thing that, especially in the Americas, I've seen it, we'll have 10 to 14 teams at a qualifier for the Pan Am Games across the Americas. And I think one country that stands out particularly is Peru. Over the last, let's say 2019, we were in Peru for the Pan Am Games. And from 2019 until today, Peru's women's program has grown so much. They've really invested a lot of time and effort into developing their sport locally. Every once in a while, you'll see an American whose parent was from Peru or something like that that does go back and play. But I think that's one country that's really developed a lot over the last 5, 6 years internally, and they've gotten better, and they've qualified for events that 5, 6 years ago you wouldn't even have seen them at. They've got kids now from Peru that are coming to the U.S. to play in college softball. So, and I think that's a good thing to point out is they're developing so much down there that they're looking for their kids to have an opportunity to come and play here. So when they do go back home and play for their national team, they're better, and it shows. So, but I think globally, with the World Cup being a stage event, more teams are able to play the first stage prior to the World Cup year. So you'll have 18 teams that are playing, and they're from all over the world. We're limited to the number of teams that can qualify from the Americas. And we have, I was putting some stuff together today for the USOPC. Like there's 7 of the top 20 teams are from the Americas. And there's four in the top 10. So, we have good softball in North and South America, and it shows.
It's so, I don't know about you, Halo, but like I remember when I first made Team USA, I was like, oh, this is simple. It's like the national team. And then you go and you play and like hopefully you're in the Olympics or whatever. And then the more years have gone by and the more that I've been involved, the more I see that it's so much beyond kind of like what you're saying too, like even just talking about the different levels, like the Pan American Games, what does that mean? Like all these different things and all these different levels, and knowing that it's not just like Halo brought up, it's not just the women's national softball team. There's the men's, there's the youth, and right now we're seeing the men's program is kind of on the rise. And I would love for you to kind of touch on that because, in our world, it's girl power, but like the boys are out there doing their thing. So I would love to hear you touch a little bit on that and how they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what the men's program has done. We've been a top 6, 7 team over the last several years, but in 2022, they finished third in the World Cup, and they were right there at the end. We hosted a stage event last year here in Oklahoma City, and Japan, who won the World Cup a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, were here and we dominated. Our pitching has gotten better. Our hitting has gotten better. There's a small facet of men's fast pitch out there, and they're really excited about the program. Some of our men's players are college coaches across the U.S. and or they've thrown BP for college programs and different things. So we're really excited about our opportunities. We've got the World Cup coming up this summer in Prince Albert, Canada. We like our chances. We have a couple of really strong pitchers that we feel can take us a long way, and we score a lot of runs. So they're really excited to watch. It's the same game, but it's different. You're starting to see a little bit more leaping in the women's game for pitching. And those men, I mean, they're only pitching from 46 feet. They're only 3 feet further back than the women.
It's insane.
But they're well outside that circle when they land.
Yeah, they fly.
Yeah. And one of our top pitchers, he throws in the 80s. And it's you don't want to stand. I wouldn't want to stand in with him. No.
Yeah.
And the ball moves so much.
Yeah, no.
Like the ball moves so much. Like that was one of the things that was so cool. Like hitting off of men's fast pitch players over the years. Sam, you can attest to this too. Is like the way that they can mimic what we're going to see
Oh my
in
God.
facing women, but the way that they can just spin the softball and make it move is honestly insane. If you haven't watched a men's fast pitch game, like, you need to go watch because it's actually absurd.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you think a
just
slider is nasty on the baseball side, like, try to hit a men's fast pitch drop or a
Literally.
rise or anything. Like, dumb.
The way that some of the men's pitchers that I've hit off of, the way they'll be like, okay, I'm throwing you this, and my knees still buckle, where I'm like, I'm fully
Right.
mentally prepared, and then it's coming, I'm like, oh God. It's so scary.
yeah, and it's pretty cool to see that those guys have an opportunity in the women's game. To whether it be in college or even traveling with us. We try to take a BP pitcher with us in most places we go, and we're fortunate that some of those guys that maybe they're not in the men's program anymore, they're in the college game, but they're able to throw, and they throw a good BP at the end of the day. So
And their arms are rubber, which is so nice that they
yeah,
can
and
throw us a million trillion pitches. It's
you
great.
guys like to hit a lot of batting
We
practice.
do.
You just
It's
stay out
it's
there
like
all day.
visualization. Feel
Yeah.
good BP. There is nothing better in this world than feel good BP.
Yeah.
No,
Throw
there's
on a good playlist, Spotify.
oh,
Get some cookies right down Broadway, and you just go
oh.
gap the gap, and maybe you go over the fence. You drop a couple bombs here and there.
Oh my gosh, now I'm thinking about cookies.
Am I hungry? I don't know. It's almost lunchtime, I guess.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Chris, I want to ask you. So obviously we're heading towards 2028. Just hired Patty Gasso as the head coach of the women's national team. Can you kind of walk us through what between 2025 and 2028? What is that team selection process like? What is that qualification process like? Just so people can, because we have to qualify to be in the Olympics first, correct? Or no,
Actually,
because it's on home soil.
it's because we're on home soil. We're the host.
So there you go.
We have it's kind of like Japan at the World Cup in 2018. When we were over there playing, they didn't have the world on their shoulders. They knew they were in already. We were playing to earn our spot, but Coach Gasso and I are still working out what it's going to look like the next 3.5 years. We anticipate having several camps outside of our events, when it works for all our athletes and stuff like that. We want to incorporate more camps into what we're doing. And then obviously just evaluating at those camps, constant evaluation of the athletes and how they're doing. Are they developing and things like that? And obviously going through the selection process. We're still in the process of writing those. Those are approved by the USOPC. Our athlete, we have an athlete rep that actually gets to sign off on those to make sure that the athletes will understand, what's expected and how they're going to be selected. So we'll see how that ends up going. We've got a lot of work in front of us. But she's eager. She's excited. We've had some, stuff going on already where, she's incorporating a little bit more data into the process than we've had previously. So that's interesting from what we're doing. And, it's going to be an exciting road over the next few years as we head to LA 28. And I think that, Sam, you were talking about all the different programs, but you think of the talent across the U.S., and trying to narrow it down regardless of the program. We had a committee call a couple of weeks ago, and we're, trying to narrow just a pool of athletes down. And you think about how good the college programs are across the U.S., but we've got professional athletes out there playing in the U.S., in Japan, in Europe. They've gone to Australia for, Mexico right now. We're fortunate at what we have. And it's exciting, but it's also so tough to just, pick and choose, like, who deserves to be in the pool. And then once they're in the pool, you got to say, you don't deserve to be on the team. This other kid does. Or, Yeah,
Still 15, correct?
it'll be 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
and even for this summer, we go to Colombia this summer. Both men and women this summer. They have a
Viva.
roster of 16 for their first event, and then we go to the World Games in China in August, and we've got to cut a player, from that
Yeah.
or we have
Just one.
yeah.
Tough.
So it's like, it's tough, but that's what they'll be working on is they're working to make one of 15. And you look at college rosters and they've got 20 kids on a roster, during the year, and they can do a lot of different things. And, versatility is so big when you only have a roster of 15.
Yeah.
Um,
Gosh.
you know, so
So all you kids out there listening, be freaking athletes, be a pitcher that can hit, field your position, throw the ball overhand to first base. That'll
there you
help.
go.
That
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it, Halo, because hearing Chris say that about the Olympic team, it's like, how many times do you talk to kids and they're like, I only play this spot, where it's like, girl, get out there, go play other
You better
spots.
You better be the best in the world then.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
a really high threshold to
Right. Go out there and try a different spot, like even if it's like a third base and a first base, like go out and be versatile and try different things and practice at different spots. And, man.
Chris knows in all of our USA scrimmages I was playing shortstop. So
Some of the best times I had watching you guys practice Halo was when Ken Erickson would bring the outfields to play infield, and you got Mish at second base or shortstop, and you maybe at third. You would be in an awkward position. You're lefty, and
Lefty
you're
problems.
you
playing
gotta do
third
what you gotta
base.
do.
Yeah.
You've never seen a middle infielder or middle infield quicker than me and Michelle Moultrie. You've never seen it.
Not in
You've
my
never seen it.
lifetime.
Yeah,
Chris,
that was good stuff.
we love you and we appreciate you being #cool boss. And as you know, because you are our boss. Nah. Wait, you got us on there, right? You got us on your mug?
Yeah, you're. This is from
There, that's
our first time together on the show.
that was
Look
your
at
first
this.
episode.
Yeah,
And now you're
first
here
episode.
in
Yeah.
a little bit, a little more prepared fashion, because we really just dragged you up there when we were in Oklahoma City last year, which, not to put any pressure, but we're for sure coming back this year
Oh,
anyway.
most definitely. Yeah.
But as you know, Halo likes to ask a wrap up
Oh
question.
gosh.
So this shouldn't be a surprise, but Halo, take it from here.
I'm so interested to hear your answer on this, Chris. But if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh,
Gosh.
Why?
why?
That's a very, and I should have been more prepared for this question, Halo. I should have.
I
This
know
is the
you
one I
listen
thought.
to every episode.
I
Not only are
do.
you our boss, you're also our biggest fan. So
Gosh.
Yeah.
What would be my advice to my younger self? Don't be scared to fail. At the end of the day, I think I've learned so much over the years by failing.
Yeah.
And I just think the life experiences you gain from that stuff is don't be scared to fail. Accept it. Even whenever I have a conversation with Craig Kress, our CEO, if something didn't go the way we'd planned, where maybe I did make a bad decision, it's own it, and then move on. And I think over the years, I think I've done pretty good with that. I think the other thing that I've learned, even with this position, and Halo, we say it all the time when we've been on trips together, is just be flexible, be willing to adapt. Don't let the circumstances that surround you determine how you're going to act and what your mood's going to be. We've been in places where the bus didn't show up and we walked to a game in the Dominican Republic. There's just been certain situations that you can't control, and just how you handle those situations will, determines a lot about you, and people will make decisions based on how you react to certain things. So I think those are a couple of things that, maybe if I would have learned a little bit, earlier in life, maybe I'm in a different position, or maybe, I would have grown up a little bit quicker, with things. But I think those are a couple of things that I may have told myself, a long time ago to react a little bit differently with some of those things. So, yeah.
Wow, Chris, that was such a
Hopefully,
good answer.
Beautiful.
hopefully that was good.
That was great.
So-
That was a mic drop moment. Are you kidding?
Okay.
But for you, it'd be like AirPod drop.
Yeah. You guys got the mics.
Yeah, and they don't drop because they be hooked up. So
They
Yeah.
don't drop.
Chris, which you sent us, so thank you. We love you. We love USA Softball. Thanks for giving some more insight into what you do and what USA Softball means and everything that's going on and and the support that you've given all the athletes over the years. I mean, when you say you've been around a long time, like he's not lying, folks.
He's not lying. A lot of supporting been going on.
Thank you.
Hashtag cool boss. But we'll see you in the office when we come knock on your door when you're working and we want you to hang out with us.
Yes, look forward to having you guys in Oklahoma City in June for the World Series.
We'll be there. Okay,
All right.
Bantees, it's your besties signing off.
At this time, we would like to thank the USA Softball Store at usasoftballstore.com for our amazing gear this week. You guys can have the exact same gear that Samu and I have literally right now if you go to usasoftballstore.com. So go literally right now, and you can use code BHB15 right now and get 15% off your entire purchase. So buy a lot of stuff, get that 15%, let it all go to use. usasoftballstore.com. Again, that code is BHB15.